Okay, family, I would like to make a short response to a documentary made by Melvin Van Peebles. All right, Melvin Van Peebles is a groundbreaking African American filmmaker who has made several classic films and was one of the progenitors of black film industry. All right, he even instilled his wisdom in his son, Mario Van Peebles, who also continued his tradition of making thought provoking, barrier breaking productions. Okay? But in this particular film, Classified X, our brother gives us a very vivid and poignant view into the black presence in Hollywood. Okay, so he began, just to make this video brief, he began from a period in which our characters were there was a lot more outright tokenism. All right, he began from the period where the black presence in films was mainly as maids, butlers, shoe shine boys, with some very exaggerated antics, you know. So we were basically a token Negro in the earliest films, okay? One dimensional characters. And he spoke about the transition into another period in which we gain some more incremental um, respect, and that the characters blacks were playing were able to become a little bit more um, vocal. Um, they were no longer just having one line, they were having conversations in films with white people, so on and so forth. Okay, and he said that during this period, there was also a fledgling black film industry. And during segregation, the black film industry, according to Melvin Van Peebles, was stronger than it is today because you had a guaranteed audience, you had a guaranteed um, theater, and you had a consistent support. All right, and just as an aside, what he said in the essence of the film, he said that segregation was actually preserving the black film industry. Right, there were black stars who were making films during this period and who had a lot of potential. But he said that during integration, there was no longer a format where the black filmmaker could survive, and so the white dominated production teams were able to still um, get rid of the black competition, in other words. All right. But he also spoke of the fact that there was very little black support of the white Hollywood productions, which didn't include um, many African Americans. Okay, and he said that there was a period in which there were no black actors in films, right? And he said that in order to get a role, you had to be in a situation where you were being killed, right? Either you were being shot, you were taking a spear, you were like the fall guy, all right? So this was the earliest point at which we became um, a pariah in the film industry. And we often wonder why we are just being killed so quickly in these horror films and the action films. But basically, this was our role. Coming into the film industry, they would not allow us to play any other types of roles. So if you got on a film, you had to be some cannibal threatening to cook somebody, or you had to be somebody being shot, being killed, something falling on you, whatever the situation is. All right. And so basically, this is how our presence in the film industry evolved. And when he made the film Sweetback, if you look on YouTube, you'll find the film. But when he made the film Sweetback, I think what he was basically saying in essence is that he he was the progenitor of black exploitation films, albeit unwittingly. He didn't actually intend to create these black exploitation narratives like Superfly and um, what have you. But what he said was that many white production teams were able to exploit the success of his black inspired movie. And in essence, they took advantage of that. And that is how we have these movies today that continue to exploit our narrative. But what is interesting to note before I close this video, at the earliest outset, he said that the old Negro, the Aunt Jemimas, the Uncle Bens, the Shoeshine Boys, he said that they made this character to portray us in a negative fashion so that we would think of ourselves in this way, right? He said that when they started to make us into a more gangsterish and a more undesirable type of character, they also created this character, right? The only difference is today we are actually believing the narrative. We are believing that we are thugs. We are believing that some of our people are prostitutes. We are believing that our people are undesirables. But when he chronicled this journey of blacks in Hollywood, he was basically chronicling the attempts of these subliminal persuaders at trying to actually fine tune this method of programming, this method of instilling ideas in people. And over the years, they've perfected it until now they can make movies, and our people will try to embody the character that is in the movie, right? And he also said something powerful. He said that black is not a cultural distinction, it is a racial distinction. Black is not a social distinction, it is a racial distinction. All right. Now, when you're talking about the region we come from, we have a distinct culture, but they use movies to actually create this black dynamic, a black way of doing things, a black set of habits and traits, whereas it was all an exaggeration, right? But family, let me know if any of this was intelligible. Check out the film Classified X by Melvin Van Peebles. And let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. There's a lot to unpack, so I think I might have to revisit that. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. One love.